The tariff refund dilemma, businesses versus consumers. The same way I feel about every other facet of the American economy. At least prices will go down now, right? Right? I'm against it. But it sure is consistent, I guess. Companies get bailouts, forgiven loans, tax breaks, and subsidies. But consumers just get fucked over. Lutnick and his crew bought a lot of these refunds for like 10 cents on the dollar. So any refunds are deposited straight to him and his company. Not grifting though, certainly not. The only even remotely practical way to reimburse consumers would be for a blanket stimulus-like tariff refund check to all taxpayers, and we know that isn't going to happen. The consumer always pays. The morons that voted for the clown are the ones responsible. If you paid a lot to any single entity, class action sue them. Some law firm will take it, and then you'll get a 10-off coupon and the lawyer will get rich. I own a small business. We are still getting random charges what feels like daily from FedEx and UPS from anything shipped from Europe. What are these refunds you are mentioning? Just another transfer of wealth to the wealthiest. They're stealing our money. Class action lawsuit against any business getting a refund, it's that simple. I mean, we aren't getting nothing, we are getting robbed. That money getting paid back comes from your pocket. So they bent you over once because of the tariffs, now they bend you over again because it was an illegal bending over. The only proper remedy is obviously another round of boogery. I feel about the same as I did in 2008 when banks and car makers received bailouts and we all got screwed. Businesses will get reimbursed, everything they overcharged us is going to end up straight profit for them. Inflation will persist, it's not going down. Wages will stay stagnant. At the end all we'll get out of this as consumers is another few trillion in debt. This is the nature of tariffs in general, they are a tax on the consumer and even if they are rolled back the consumer will likely not see much if any relief. The company importing the goods is paying the tariff, not the consumer at the time of import, but the cost is passed on in the cost of the product the consumer buys in nearly every case. If you support tariffs in general you support paying more on the vast majority of the goods you buy. There may be one or two businesses out there that refund their customers, more likely in the B2B space, but the average consumer will not be seeing anything returned to them for these illegal tariffs and if tariffs are removed in the future, price points are unlikely to drop accordingly in response. Tariffs generally are bad for the economy and are bad for consumers and businesses alike and generally do not result in long-term improvements to manufacturing employment. The thing that galls me is that businesses, understandably, raised prices to accommodate the tariffs. They had to as their input costs had increased. I am willing to bet that those price increases won't be rolled back. Easier to track the tariff to a company than the individual. The flip side is you can have every business give their complete sales data to the individual level to the government. Yes, this would make it easier to give you your tariff refund, but now the government will know exactly what you bought, when you bought it, etc. Some folks would not like that type of invasion of privacy as well as potentially bypassing constitutional protections. Feels like a giant grift from the administration who only cares about itself. Since 90 of those costs were passed on to the consumers, where do we sign up for a refund from the last 16 months? Most businesses didn't pay those tariffs. We did. Where is my refund? I know it won't happen, but if one of these companies really wanted to get a jump on their competition, and we here at, insert company, are going to give this back to you. So we are dropping our prices back to pre-tariff prices, and for the next 5 months, taking, insert dollar amount, off the price until we burn through our refund. I like to think in another world this is what is happening. Did you pay a tariff directly? Or did you pay a tariff charge to the seller shipped? If you paid directly, you should be able to get it back. If you paid a company a markup because they're paying a tariff, sorry buddy. It feels almost like this is exactly what they intended. We pay more for everything. They get tariff refunds and look more profitable yet prices stay high. It's a win-win for everyone except consumers. It'll trickle down. I'm willing to bet we don't see prices fall. What's Mario's brother's name, again? I don't mind them asking, but when it feels pushy or scripted it just makes me trust the review less. If the service was actually good, people will leave one anyway. That money should be sent to the VA or SSA. Though the part that gets me, the upper echelons are on a fully socialized system, whereas they're convincing us commoners that it's evil and un-American. Not only will the consumer see no relief, but costs will remain high. Yeah, it's a rip-off. The companies already had the tariffs refunded by the higher price we paid, they are getting even more money while we are left holding the bag. What you should feel is that it was all a scam. Almost everything is a scam these days. Nothing should cost close to what it does. I feel utterly unsurprised. Sounds about right, companies get all the benefits while consumers foot the bill. With the war in Iran there will be record profits for oil companies while the people foot the bill for both the war and the resulting higher costs. Yay! My GF is from Canada and it's been so abundantly clear that the American system actually doesn't give a flying fuck about its citizens. In fact, it goes out of its way to try and fuck over Americans at any chance possible for profit. She always feels like she's having to look out for herself to not be ripped off or screwed over by businesses and the government while she's been here. All this is to say, what us Americans are used to doesn't actually have to be this way. It's just how greedy fucks at the top in America have shaped society to be. Corporations, execs, and political leaders don't care about us. Sounds like what happens when you elected the GOP. More money for the rich and military, less for the rest. That tracks. We're just serfs to them. It's just how conservatives do things: protect the rich, socialize the losses, privatize the profits. Honestly, this has been their only business policy since at least Reagan, and most still haven't figured it out.